I wanted to break down what's going on with the current housing market because it seems to be like nothing is really changing. We're all stuck in this scenario. And I wanted to break down some of the numbers we got here from Housing Wire, and we're going to break down the housing supply, mortgage rates, all that, and give you an idea of what you should be doing as a beginner real estate investor. Weekly housing inventory from last week to this week has gone up 4,401 homes, which, if we look at the percentage, that is only 0.89% of all homes. So it's slightly up, right? We have more houses available. But to put it in a different perspective, there's 19,502 cities or towns around the United States. Now, if we got 4,401 new homes, that means we gained about a quarter of one house in every town around the United States. Now, some cities had more, some cities had less. That just goes to show you that the increase in supply, because no one is buying, isn't actually happening, because at the same time, no one is selling. So if no one is selling and no one is buying, all that happens is everything goes down. It doesn't mean that anything's going to crash. If the supply and demand both go down, then we have this issue. If demand goes up and supply goes down, then we have price increases. If supply goes up and demand goes down, then we have price drops. So we don't have supply going up and demand going down. Mortgage rates also went up from 7.19 to 7.37, and apparently this is the highest rate we've had all century, which should be a thing that causes demand to drop. But at the same time, if you're someone who needs to sell their house and you want to buy another one, what's going to happen? You're going to be stuck. You're not going to be able to move because you're going to have to give up your 3% interest rate for 7.37 for the same house or slightly higher house. So you're not going to be able to afford it. So people aren't able to list their houses and people aren't able to buy. To give this whole thing into perspective of why are we in this scenario, in 2015, the amount of homes on the market was 1,841,000 houses. That's 2015. And today we are 496,541 houses on the market in total, which means that we literally would have to have a 244% increase to just have the same housing market we had in 2015. Now, how do we get to a 244% increase? Unfortunately, it's going to have to either cause pain to everyone here, or it's going to have to cause the government to do something about supply or builders to do something about supply. Let's break down what that means. If the government wants to do something about supply, meaning getting builders to get incentivized by tax credits and people that are working on new building materials and new technology for building houses faster and more sustainably, if those people had tax incentives, then those people would then end up producing more. So that's, if they produced more houses, then guess what? Then we would have more houses and that would increase supply. That's one part of the equation. A part of the equation where the demand drops is going to have to come down to unemployment. What happens when people lose their jobs? If people lose their jobs, they can't pay rent or they can't pay mortgage, and therefore they end up having to sell their house. So if they own a house and they sell it, then they go down to renting. If they're renting and they can't afford it, then they get evicted, right? There's no in between, or maybe they move in with family to save some money. So the only way that this scenario happens is one of the two things goes on. One, unemployment rate goes up because maybe bank failures or maybe this commercial real estate stuff that people are talking about where it's going to drop, that goes down. Or on the other hand, the government starts incentivizing supply or builders just start building more. And after 2008, I don't really think that the builders are going to start overbuilding again because they don't want to get caught in this scenario where they can't sell all these houses. It screws them very much. So that's where we're stuck. But here's a few things to look forward to over the next couple of weeks and months. We are now heading into what is typically a slower season in real estate, meaning less people end up buying houses during this time. Less people end up selling as well, so that might just bring the whole market even lower, not by price, but in terms of transactions, how many people are buying and how many people are selling. Because a lot of people once they're in school and it's cold outside, they don't really want to go out and look at houses. So that's something there's going to be less interest in buying and maybe even less interest in selling over the next couple months. But that doesn't mean that anything will crash. What could happen more is that mortgage rates will keep going up. That also doesn't mean that anything will crash, but that might mean that houses might sit on the market for a little bit longer. And if houses sit on the market for a little bit longer, then you can keep putting offers in on those houses. And if you do, eventually you're going to find a seller that needs to get out, because they've been waiting for a long period of time to sell. And by doing that, you might get an offer on a property that's better. If you choose to sit on the sidelines at this point in time, you're only going to hurt yourself. You're not going to be able to take advantage of properties that come on the market now. If you find a property that works at a 7.37 interest rate, or like me, I closed on a 12.1% interest rate 2 weeks ago with Lima One. If you're like me and that's happening to you, then if you find the house that works with the high interest rate, if interest rates go up, guess what? You're okay. It works. And if interest rates go down, guess what? You're in better shoes because you can refinance and then pull some equity out and get more cash flow, maybe. Okay? So that's what I'm going to recommend to you is you stay in the market, you keep looking, you keep trying to buy. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm actually working on trying to get more sources of funding right now because I've been told by other real estate investors that that's a really good idea at this moment in time. And so if you guys are new here and you're new to the channel, thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and I'll catch you all later. Have a great day.